Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're breaking down a massive story that's unfolding right now, the international crisis over Greenland. And believe me, this isn't just some small dispute. It's pushing the entire Western alliance right to the edge.
Okay, so let's get right into it. What we're talking about here is a full-blown diplomatic firestorm. It's got the United States facing off against some of its oldest, closest allies, and it's shaking the very foundation of the Western alliance.
It all really kicked into high gear with this one statement. On March 4th, 2025, the U.S. president said, one way or the other, we're going to get it. Just like that, a long-simmering American ambition exploded into a major international crisis.
And how are they planning to get it? Well, the White House has threatened a full-on trade war. They announced they're ready to slap escalating tariffs on European nations. The message couldn't be clearer. Get on board with our plan, or your economy is going to feel the pain.
And just look at who's being targeted here. We're talking Denmark, Norway, France, Germany, the UK. These aren't rival nations. These are the core members of NATO. And why? Because they dared to show some solidarity with Denmark by sending their troops for joint exercises on the island. So Europe didn't just sit back. They responded. What you're looking at is a real show of force and solidarity. We're seeing European military forces deploying to Greenland. Now, it's for joint exercises, but make no mistake, this sends a powerful message. This whole thing has gone way beyond a diplomatic argument. We're now in a military standoff between allies. So, you've got to be asking, why is this all happening now? And what is it about this huge, ice-covered island that's suddenly so important? To really get what's going on today, we have to rewind a bit, because this whole idea is actually a very, very old American dream. Yeah, the idea of the U.S. owning Greenland might sound like something that just popped up recently, but believe it or not, American interest in this goes back, way back, more than 150 years actually. Just take a look at this timeline. It really shows you how persistent this ambition has been. It starts way back in 1867, right after the Civil War. Then it pops up during World War II, becomes a big deal in the Cold War, gets floated again in 2019, and now, well, here we are in 2025 with a full-blown crisis.
Let's go back to the beginning, 1867. The very same guy who famously bought Alaska, Secretary of State William Seward, was already looking north. He actually commissioned a whole report on buying Greenland, too. He saw it as the next logical step for American expansion. But Congress was busy with Reconstruction, so the whole thing just fizzled out.
Okay, now let's jump forward to 1946. World War II is over, but the Cold War is just starting to freeze over. The U.S. decides Greenland is an absolute military necessity, so they secretly go to Denmark and offer them $100 million in solid gold bullion for the island. The Danes were completely blindsided and said, absolutely not. So what is it about this giant island of ice that makes it worth risking a major international meltdown? Well, it really boils down to three things: its strategic location, a massive amount of untapped energy, and a treasure trove of critical minerals. All right, from a military point of view, it all comes down to this: the GIUK gap. That's the name for the stretch of ocean between Greenland, Iceland, and the UK. If you control Greenland, you basically control the front door to the North Atlantic. Back in the Cold War, this was all about stopping Soviet subs. Today, it's about keeping tabs on Russian and Chinese naval movements in the Arctic. Then you've got the economics of it. Underneath all that ice and water, geologists estimate there are around 50 times billion barrels of oil and natural gas. And as the Arctic ice continues to melt, getting to all that energy becomes easier and easier. But the oil might not even be the biggest prize. The real jackpot could be what's buried under the land. Greenland is sitting on the largest known deposits of rare earth elements outside of China. We're talking about the minerals that make our entire modern world tick. Everything from your smartphone to the F-35 fighter jet. So when you add it all up, the military, real estate, the oil and gas, those super valuable minerals, some analysts have crunched the numbers and put the total value at over $1.1 trillion. The Financial Times even called it the potential deal of the century. But here's the thing. This isn't just some empty piece of real estate up for grabs. We're talking about a nation. 57,000 people live there with their own language, their own culture, and a very strong desire to control their own destiny. And their take on all this? It's dramatically different. And this quote from Denmark's Prime Minister, Mette Frederiksen, just says it all. Greenland is not for sale. Okay, message received. Then she says Greenland is not Danish. That's a nod to Greenland's growing autonomy. And then the most important part, Greenland is Greenlandic. That is a powerful statement about their identity and their right to decide for themselves. And this isn't just politicians talking. This is what the people of Greenland actually want. A recent poll showed that a massive 85% of Greenlanders are firmly against the idea of becoming part of the United States. Only 6% support it. That's about as clear as it gets. So what this really boils down to is a clash between two completely different visions for the future. On one side, you have the Greenlandic people, who are on a path towards more self-rule, maybe even full independence one day. And on the other side, you have the US, which sees Greenland as a strategic asset to be acquired for its own security and resources. So where does all of this leave the Western alliance? I mean, this standoff has really put the future of that entire security partnership into question. And let's be crystal clear, we are way past this being a simple real estate discussion. You've got trade threats flying, European troops on the ground in Greenland, and diplomatic ties at a breaking point. This is a direct challenge to the stability of NATO itself. It's become a test of loyalty, sovereignty, and what it even means to be an ally anymore. And you want to know how high the stakes are? Just listen to the Danish Prime Minister's warning. She said a forced US takeover of Greenland would mean the end of NATO. Not just a problem for Denmark, but the end of the very alliance that's kept the peace in Europe for more than 75 years. And that leaves us with the big question, right? Is Greenland the ultimate prize, the key to controlling the Arctic in the 21st century? Or has it accidentally become the fault line that finally cracks the Western alliance apart? The answer to that? Well, it's going to define the world for decades to come.